Hi, I'm Bill DiGiulio. Today I'd like to talk about a technique that I think could be very useful in your playing and soloing. I've discussed this in a previous video, but I wanted to take one video and really highlight it and demonstrate how I would practice it and explain fairly thoroughly why I think it's a very useful skill to have. And it's one that you rarely hear in a lot of beginning improvisers, especially young players that haven't listened to a lot of different jazz musicians or jazz improvisers. And this is the skill of leaving space, or what's called the use of space when improvising. And simply what it is starting the solo and not playing a lot of notes in the beginning, playing very short phrases and leaving a lot of room musically, and just rest in your playing and allow the accompaniment to play through, and then only playing when you strongly feel an idea is needed. Now this is a great technique to use, especially the first chorus when you improvise, for several reasons. One, the most important I would say, is to provide a sense of building and a sense of development in your solo. So in your first solo, if you're playing very little, then you start to play more, and then in later solos, play with more activity, possibly filling up all the space. This will give your solo a sense of progression and a sense of development, and will hopefully build excitement. Now another reason this is good to practice is that it has some benefits for both the audience and the player himself or herself. First of all, by leaving space, when you play an idea, it gives the audience a chance to process and to absorb what you've played. You're not throwing a lot of ideas at them that they have to figure out. You're playing a short idea, leaving room, letting them think about that. And that can be great in especially establishing a rapport with your audience in your first chorus, which is a great thing to do. Another thing it allows you to do is it gives you, the player, a chance to listen and to process what's going on. So I can play an idea, and then I have a few seconds or a second to think of how I want to develop that and what I want to play next. So that gives me a little extra time, especially, like I said, in the first chorus, to process what's going on. This is especially important if you're playing with a new rhythm section, for example. You want to listen to how they're feeling the time. How are the chordal instruments comping for you? Are they using a lot of substitutions? Are they staying with the basic changes? These are all things that you want to listen for the very first time, especially if you're not, as I said, comfortable playing with this group. So these are some great ideas, or some great reasons to practice this skill. Now, how do we actually do it? It's very simple, in theory. I play very short phrases and just let the accompaniment go by without playing. I leave large gaps in my solos. Now I want to play very few notes, but I want to carefully choose those notes. I want to make sure at all times I'm locking in with the chord changes and being very judicious about how I play. So this is a great example of how to practice if you feel you want to see if you're really locking in with the changes. A lot of people, unfortunately, tend to play solos by just playing a lot of notes with the hope that certain notes will lock in with the changes. So taking a kind of haphazard approach. Just by playing a lot of notes, eventually one or two will probably sound good with the changes. If that's your style of improvising, this would be a great exercise for you, because it will give you a chance to really concentrate on what you're playing and to pre-hear your ideas so that you can make sure they fit in with harmonically is going on, and also texturally and form-wise with the song. So I'll demonstrate this with two different examples, just to demonstrate that this could be done with any type of song, any type of feel, and also at any tempo. I'll do it at a relatively moderate tempo at first. I'll use a bossa nova. I'll use the changes to the bossa black Orpheus at a moderate tempo. And there again, leaving a lot of space. Then the second example, I'll use a faster bebop type changes. But first example, the changes to Black Orpheus. As I said, leaving a lot of space, trying to make sure I nail whatever changes I do want to play over. So that would be an example, as I said, playing over a moderate tempo with a bossa feel. Now my next example, I'll use the same concept, playing very little, using a much faster tempo. In fact, this is even a little more challenging at the faster tempo because you tend to want to fill up the space and get the energy going. But I'm going to purposely hold back and play only very little, but still try to make the changes, first of all, but also maintain the feel of the song. What I play and whatever I play has to fit musically. So notice in that example as well, I did not play a lot of notes. I tried to concentrate on just, especially cadential points. I tried to nail certain chord changes just to highlight what was going on in the song musically. But by leaving all that space, I had lots of time to think about what I wanted to do next. And what I noticed is that it almost forced me to play more motivically. I played an idea, and I really felt the need to want to develop that idea. So I did that several times in both examples. So I hope that you find this useful. As I said, this is one of the most challenging exercises to practice if you're not used to it, because we tend to want to fill up space constantly. But if you can master this concept, then as you develop your soloing and start to play more and more in later choruses, what you play in later choruses will make more sense, you'll find, because you've already practiced the concept of developing the solo. And this will spill over into later choruses as you get used to thinking as you play under the right circumstances. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to mention in the comments section. Any comments, criticisms, critiques, whatever. And please feel free to like, subscribe to my channel, and to comment on the video, as I said. The comments are really useful, and it gives me a sense of what my subscribers really want to see and what direction I should take the channel. So your comments are very much appreciated and very helpful. Again, my name is Bill G. DiGilio. Have a great day.